with all the talk about minnows and jig heads and shaken and dice and all the weird stuff, I don't think we can forget how powerful the drop shot and how a simple little finesse worm can be in the tool of somebody that really is confident in somebody that's dialed in. And so we're gonna dive into that and talk about somebody that recently won themselves a brand new skeeter boat with a little pink worm. And we'll talk about a whole lot more on HellaBass Live this week. What's up, Tommy?
How's it going, dude?
All right. So Tommy Parker, 2026 Classic Bass Champions Tour Championship winner. How's that sound?
It sounds pretty good, honestly. I still can't believe it. I mean, I don't have the boat sitting here yet, so it's still kind of hard to believe. Never thought in a million years it'd happen. You hear about all these guys, like, I mean, Rich and myself from Minnesota. You hear about, like, these Capras and stuff. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, they won 2 boats way back when. And that just doesn't happen anymore. It's the biggest trophy
or you hear
in Minnesota.
Guys like Gary Dobbins who have won like 30 or 40 boats or whatever, and you're like, I will never even fish. I don't even have that many opportunities in my life to fish for a boat.
No, we have one opportunity all year, and that's it. So
yeah.
It's kind of the best we got in Minnesota, and it feels pretty good to get it done this year. Especially when Noah Schultz has taken the last 4.
No, they missed 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, Kyle should have won.
Yeah, Kyle should have won. And then the only other person recently is Andy Wells.
Yep.
Yeah, so HellaBass Live presented by always as Arsenal Fishing, boosted by Powerhouse Lithium. And codes down below in the description if you guys want to help out those companies. And so we're gonna talk about it. We got Banger in the chat. Brian says we look good, sound good, so we'll get into it. And if you guys got other questions, we'll get into that tonight. But I think the A topic here, right, is Green Lake was the venue. Spicer, Minnesota. They announced it back in May, right? And the rules meeting for Vermillion way back in early May, right? Wasn't it early June? June 3rd.
June.
Right?
Yeah,
we
heard about it.
Or 3rd. Yeah. So they announced at the meeting, and honestly, I was like immediately not excited about Green Lake personally. What was your first thoughts about like when they announced it back on Vermillion?
So I just knew I've never fished it before. I knew it was a good smallmouth fishery from what guys were saying, and I knew it was just full of fish. So I was instantly excited to go to it. And after they announced it at Vermillion, I'm like, it's only an hour from my house, maybe not even. So I'm like, I got to go check it out. So I went out there, and none of the grass was grown up. It's still early June. There's still fish on beds. Water temps are cold. But I noticed the little bits of grass that were starting to come up were loaded. Like you could catch 20, 30 fish out of just a little foot tall by a boat length kind of patch. So just going out that early, honestly, I was amazed, but it kind of clued me into what I did in practice.
Sure. Yeah, and I have only fished it a few times, and the first time I ever fished it was like a club tournament, like way back in the day, and they were, it was like June. They were on beds, like that's what everybody did. And then I fished a TBF tournament out there, and it was like early July, so I was chasing like the last fry garters, and that like evaporated on me, and I got my head caved in by Dustin Bliss scoping. Which was like the first time I'd really seen like scope dominate a tournament locally.
Good scoping, like.
Yeah, for smallmouth 5-fish tournaments, it's pretty much the only thing I think that competes once the spawn is done. So that's my experience. It was statistically probably one of the worst tournaments I've ever had 5 years ago in that TBF tournament. And then I followed it up with probably an equally as bad tournament this time. So.
Well, you started in the same area I did the second half, and I think we both thought that was going to win it. So,
yeah, I was surprised how many people came in there and just tried to get a little piece of that.
Honestly, I'm the opposite. I thought when I pulled up, I'm like, there's like half the amount of guys I thought there's going to be here.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to get on any of those current seams. And just being able to get on one, I was like, okay, it could go down. And then once, I waited for like, I mean, you saw you right there. I waited for like an hour. And the whole time, I'm just not catching ship. And I'm just like, the whole time, I'm waiting for Chad to move. Because Chad's making this one cast, and it's not the cast I wanted to make, but it's
his boat is where you want it to be, but not the cast you wanted to make.
His cast is where I want my boat.
Sure.
So once he let me slide in there, I'm like, it could go down here. Or more so, I was like, it is going to go down here. I'm like, this is the waiting spot. And they were just gone. Like, the couple I caught were, in practice, they were all like 3 to 4 pound largemouth. But when I pulled up, I caught a couple, and they were like 1.5 pound, 2 pound smallmouth. So right then and there, I knew something changed. I don't know if the current wasn't flowing as hard, or it was flowing harder, or weather conditions. Not sure. But something definitely changed there. I thought
17 boats standing over their head for an hour.
I just thought with all the pressure, like, so the last little bit of practice I pulled up there, I'm like, I wonder what pressure did to this spot. And I took a couple casts in there. It's like doink, doink, doink. I'm like, oh, they're still here. So I thought pressure wasn't going to affect them. So when I pulled up there and hardly got bit, I was shocked.
Yeah. I think the flow did slow down a little bit. It was still pretty hard, but I think it dropped off a little bit. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it dropped enough to really like move them. I feel like they should have still been there, but they just weren't.
No. We'll maybe come back to that kind of full circle a little bit. Sure. But so I saw you in practice. We were fishing next to each other in 2-3 feet of water. You were throwing a pink worm. And when I saw you in the tournament, didn't matter if you're fishing out deep or you're fishing in 10-mile-an-hour current, you were throwing a little pink worm. So what percentage or how many of your keeper fish of the 59 keepers that you caught were on a drop shot?
100%, dude. I mean, a robo worm has honestly been, especially the past few years, it's been the biggest moneymaker for me. I have confidence in it all over the country, and I feel like just having confidence in what you're throwing is definitely really important, especially on the tough fisheries, man. Like, if you're confident in what you're throwing, I'm convinced you're going to catch fish on it.
Yeah. So you're basically like it really like reduces you have such confidence through use and repetition and success that's like a variable you don't need to equate. You can basically vary like where you're fishing, how deep you're fishing, what part of the lake you're fishing, but you got like that's one of your whatever handful of baits that you're just gonna like, you're not gonna go through 10-12 baits. You got like the drop shot and maybe a couple other things you're gonna throw, and if they're there, they're gonna show themselves.
Exactly. I think I got a handful of baits and a robo worms one where I think if I throw it in front of bass that are gonna bite, they're gonna eat it. And if they don't eat that thing, normally I don't get too complicated about it. I just get up and leave.
Sure. So let's get into the I guess let's talk about the setup at Green Lake. What was the setup?
So yeah, I mean, my two biggest confidence rods are both Dobbins Champion Extremes. I just rotate. I mean, I've experimented with a lot of them. There are a lot of good ones. I throw a lot of ecstasies for other things. When it comes to fishing deep largemouth and grass around home in Minnesota, I just rotate the Champion Extreme 702 and then the Extreme 703. If I'm fishing more open water, I like throwing the 702, like that's my go-to minnow rod. And then when I'm drop shotting or throwing a Ned rig or anything into those deep coontail clumps, I just go straight to the 703. I just feel like it's got enough backbone to pull them out of that stuff, but it's also got enough tip on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too stiff of a rod, but it's not too soft.
Right. And then, and 7 foot, is that just like your comfort? Like that was what feels right versus like a 742 or a shorter rod or?
Yeah, no, I pretty much only throw spinning wise. They're all 7 foot. I just rotate between, the 702, 703, and then sometimes I'll mix in a medium heavy, but I really never change the length on it. I'm just so confident with that. It feels right in the hand.
Braid to fluoro, I assume?
Yeah, most of the time I just run, if I'm fishing grass, I'll just run 15-pound braid to about a 10-pound Tatsu fluoro.
Sure. And how long a leader are you typically?
Normally not too long. I mean, talking braid to leader, I'll do about 12 to 14-foot leader. And then a lot of guys go longer on their drop shots, but I keep mine pretty short. I'd say average drop shot I tie is 1.5 feet, maybe.
Sure.
A lot of
Pretty
times
standard.
only a foot. Like I know there's a
But
lot of guys that
12, 15-foot fluorocarbon leader, you can retie it several times before you got to put a new leader on.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably get 3 drop shots out of it and you got to retie. I've tried tying longer ones, and I don't like it. I don't like when that fluorocarbon gets too much into my reel. I don't know. It just throws off my cast.
Sure.
I like holding braid with my finger when I'm casting.
And then, like, your standard worm is just a 6-inch robo worm?
6-inch straight tail, as basic as it gets. Haven't overcomplicated it. It's all I throw. I mean, even before I worked with robo worm, that's the only drop shot worm I ever threw. So it catches them. I went through
How many different colors do you like keep on? Like, what's on your short lists?
Normally, I'll just rotate like a natural color, like a brown green. A lot of times, I'll do Aaron Magic, and then I'll throw a pink, like a Morning Dawn. And then my go-to is either a Margarita Mutilator or I believe it's MM2, just some sort of purple.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like everywhere I go, I get bit on one of those 3 colors.
And then are you typically Texas rigging it or nose hooking it, or depends on the cover? Or
Yeah, no, so I always Texas rig it. I'll either rig it on like a straight shank rebarb style hook. RoboWorm makes a great one. Or a lot of times I'll throw it on just a standard Gamakatsu, like 1/0 worm hook, like an offset worm hook. I mean, it seems like I go through a lot more baits doing that just without the barb on it. But I have so much confidence in throwing that. I know I don't lose fish. So I'd say 90% of the time I'm just throwing that standard Gamakatsu 1/0.
Sure. And then weight-wise, do you vary the weights much, or is it like you lock in with it?
Only throw a 3/8 ounce. It's the only drop shot weight I got on my boat.
You like it to like get down there and shake it.
Yeah, it just seems like sometimes I'll go to a half, but if I go any lighter than the 3/8, I feel like when I shake it the way I do, I mean, I shake my drop shot pretty hard, and I feel like if I drop down to a quarter, it's just hard to keep it on bottom when I'm doing that.
Sure. So even was 3/8 enough in the second half there, or did you have to go up to a half to get it to sit where you wanted it to?
No, I'd say 99% of the time 3/8 is plenty.
But even like in that current?
Yeah, a 3/8 is all you need in that.
Okay.
The only time I'll go up to a half is like in practice on green when it's blowing 20, 30 miles an hour constantly. Then I'll go up to a half just so I could feel something. But other than that, I'd say it's always 3/8.
Sure.
Not even a robo worm. I mean, if I'm throwing a smaller drop shot bait, let's say I'm smallmouth fishing a Mille Lacs, I stick to 3/8 just to keep it in place.
So you're getting it down and you're shaking it in their face. Like that's kind of your.
Yeah, no, I'll throw it out there. Let's say I'm fishing a deep grass clump, shake it for 10, 15 seconds. I'll pop it up a piece on top of a piece of grass, shake it a little longer. And if I don't get bit there, I just reel up and make a new cast. I'm not really much of a dragger.
Yeah. There's the others, like there's kind of that style, or there's people that like, I want to use the lightest drop shot I can use, right? And they think they're more about the fall rate and that kind of stuff. But you just like, you're going to get it down there and you're just going to like. Yeah.
I want to get it down there fast.
Right on. Question from Luke. Do you have a lucky cameraman? Trying to settle a debate.
Yeah, it's definitely DeMarkey. DeMarkey's the man. I feel like I always get DeMarkey.
Nice. All right, well that's cool. So nothing like super crazy, right? And then I guess like rolling into a tournament like Green where you were probably planning to catch most of them on a drop shot. Like how many 702, 703s are pre-rigged, ready to go? Like is it one rod, Todd, or you have like 3 or 4 rods with the same thing rigged up?
A tournament like Green, like I knew going into that, I was pretty much only going to throw a drop shot. So I had 4 of them on my deck, all tied up on 703s. And I knew I wasn't going to break off very many, but the main reason was that coontail was so thick, I'd have to reel them out of it so fast so they didn't dig back in. I ended up getting a lot of line twist in my braid. So after I catch 10, 15, I'd have so much line twist, I just have to drop it and grab a new rod.
Yeah, right on. So kind of back up, you kind of looked around in practice and then you knew during official practice how you were going to dial in. So how much of your time were you spending fishing in practice versus like looking for stuff on your graph? Like what was your approach in the official 3 days of practice?
So the first day, I just went around looking for those deep coontail clumps. I knew it was going to be the deal. It was kind of the same thing on Wasca last year, but that tournament actually ended up burning me. So this year, I just went right back to it. First day of practice, I just hit as many of those deep grass clumps as I could, and it seemed like I got bit in every good-looking one I found. Anything that was tall and gave me a hard return on scope, I'd get bit out of.
Yeah. And when you say deeper, what range were you looking?
Honestly, I mean, a lot of them were in that 10 to 18-foot range, but that lake had, I don't want to say such little grass because you get on top of like Castle Flats or any of that area on the south side, there's good grass everywhere. But you get in anywhere off there, you get in those areas that don't have a lot of grass. It seemed like if you find any good coontail, it just had them. So those couple windy days we had, I just spent those driving around trying to find as many of those grass clumps as I could. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of them out there. Before tournament day, I thought I just didn't find them all, but I'm pretty sure I found most of them because once tournament day rolled around, I pulled up to all my dots and there's boats everywhere. I mean, you have to wait for 2-3 boats to rotate a grass clump before you can even get on it. So I probably found 20 grass clumps in practice, and I mean, it was enough, but I still don't think it was nearly enough. I think I just landed on a couple of them. I don't know if I was throwing a different worm or just rolled in a different bite window, but for some reason they just bit.
Yeah. I mean, it did seem like pretty much every place you rolled into behind people, you caught fish behind them.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just, I don't want to say it's a bite window because there's so many guys that hit clumps before me. So I don't know if it was like the weight of the drop shot or just a robo worm or what it was, but something definitely played a factor in getting those fish to bite.
Yeah. Or you just had the confidence to like, like you
Yeah,
just got on a roll and just like, yeah, some days it's your day.
yeah, I was just milking the stuff I knew was good. Like the only reason I stayed at that spillway so long was because I thought that they were going to be there, or else I would have been up and out of there way faster.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then people kept on coming back there later, and people would catch a couple of fish, but I don't think anybody ended up really catching them as good as they thought they were gonna.
No, they weren't there like they should have been. I think that play you had rolling in there late and hitting that dock, like you'd think that dock would just have them loaded under it.
I mean, it did in practice. Like I shook them off. Like
Yeah.
I think I did see a guy at the end of the day fishing a pink roboworm around the corners of it and catching a few fish. But I think there was way more fish under the dock, but you just couldn't get the right kind of bait in there and hold it. I don't think you could get a bait like the style of bait you needed to get those fish not being like they weren't eating, and you needed to get something that you could hold in their face and just sit there and like make them angry, and you just can't really like get a drop shot in there. Like, I mean, I tried skipping tubes and stuff in there, and I'd get a couple bites here and there, but like not like I knew they were in there.
Yeah. No, I
Because
mean,
I like did the same thing. Like I knew because of my boat draw, there was no way that I was going to get on a seam at the start of either half because I was right in the middle basically. And so I like flipped the docks and it was like dunk, dunk, dunk. And I was like, well, in a second, you know, like there's a chance I should be able to get a piece of this, right? And so I was like, and then, but I mean, I caught a few fish, but it just wasn't anything like I thought it would. No matter how slow I fished and how long I let a Senko sit in there or whatever, it just wasn't generating the bites I needed. But
yeah, it just wasn't going there.
oh well. Yeah, and then like to your point, like I stopped there like pretty late on Sunday and like just made a couple quick pitches with a jig and it was like dunk, like up close, like in the dock, and I was like, well, they're still there. Like
Yeah, I mean, that got me real excited. And then at the rules meeting, when they announced the lake split, I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. Because
right.
I thought whoever got that spillway was going to win the thing, but luckily that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Yeah, so you started out, I mean, in the morning, right? You were catching them, but like not nearly as fast as Ron was catching them. Like Ron got out to like a blistering start, but you kind of like slowly like got close by the end of the first half, right?
I wouldn't even say it was slow. So, like,
I mean, it was steady, but like he was like you weren't
yeah,
slow. But I'm just saying, like he was like whoop, and then you just kind of like, and I
yeah,
wouldn't say you
I'd
were
say,
slow, but I mean you were catching them steady, but like I
yeah,
was catching them slow. But like
I'd say I was catching them fast enough to stay in second, but I wasn't catching them fast enough to gain on Ron.
right.
So I probably the first half I must have had 6, 8 spots. I was confident. A few of them were one hitters, and I was about to run to my last spot. It's like maybe we have an hour and a half to go in the first period, and my marshal's like, "Yeah, Ron's like, I want to say 40 pounds, maybe it was 30 pounds ahead of you." And I straight up looked at him. I'm like, that lead might be unbeatable. Because in a normal Champions Tour, someone has a 40-pound lead, and he was still catching them at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's a really hard lead to beat. And I pulled up to my final spot, and I found this one. It was honestly a really bad-looking grass clump. Like, this spot had good coontail everywhere, and I don't know if that stuff just got fished to the point where they weren't biting or they weren't there. But I found one patch of sandgrass off the edge of the coontail, and I went every cast for the last hour, and they were all 2.5 to 3.5 pounders. So at that point, that's when I got like a few pounds away from Ron going into the second half.
Yeah. And then somehow Ron caught less fish than I did in the second half, so not
The
a good
second
half
half
for
wasn't
Ron.
good. It was really tough. Like a lot of these grass clumps I pulled up to in the second half. I mean, I'd say I found 2 that really had them, 1 that really had them, and I probably had 15 on the spot, and I thought all of them were going to be 20, 30 fish spots. And I mean, I think most of them just got fished out, and Evan Blakely, the guy that got second, he was fishing a grass clump. It was right by me, but I was more off the edge, and he was more up on it. But he caught quite a few off that grass clump up on it. And I know there was quite a few other guys that caught him off that too.
Yeah. So you second half you caught, I mean like you of your 59 fish, I think like 55 of them were largemouth or something like that. Like you caught a few smallmouth in the current, but otherwise you basically targeted. And which is interesting because Green Lake is known as a smallmouth lake predominantly, but classic bass made it, fish potentially a little different. Like in a 5 fish tournament, right? What Evan was doing early in the tournament would have been the way to win it, I think, right? So
100%. But I mean, in a few years, I could see the largemouth actually playing at 5 fish. I mean, the quality's there. They're getting big. There's a lot of 3 to 4 pound largemouth in there right now. So
yeah. The only thing that concerns me is like that lake used to have a lot more grass than it does. So at some point there could be a cliff for the largemouth if the grass keeps disappearing. But
yeah, there's like hardly anything in there. I mean, like I said, if you're not on Castle Flats, it's hard to find grass anywhere.
But yeah, I mean, you kind of got. I mean, going into the blackout period, I think you were like 20 pounds up on Evan.
I want to say it was 30.
Yeah, it was at least 20 something, if not closer to 30. So
Yeah, I think it was like 30 because the whole time, I mean, you have that blackout period. I mean, when you're that close to winning something like that, you're just shaking the whole time. So the whole time I'm thinking, how many fish does Evan need to catch to gauge me? So I gauged it at 10 fish at 3 pounds because that's Evan's style.
right.
So I
And then
think
every time you caught one, you'd add to it. So now he's got to catch 11, or now he's got to catch 12, or like.
yeah. Well, that was the scary thing. So right before the blackout period, I could see him. I mean, he was probably 200 yards from me. And right before that blackout period went, he got up and left. So I couldn't see him anymore.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like after Vermillion, which you and I think finished like one fish apart or something like that. And like I had no idea. So like after that, I set like an alarm on my phone for like 2:25 to like have my Marshall or whatever like screenshot the before the blackout, so I had a little better idea what was going on by the time we get back to weigh in.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it definitely. I think I will give Dane credit. I know it was a little bit maybe upsetting for some of the fans and stuff, but from an angler perspective, the blackout period definitely added a lot of excitement to the day. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it adds like the excitement you get from a 5 fish derb where you really don't know what's going to happen when you pull up to the dock. So I like that aspect, and I really like how I can't remember what tournament it was. I think it was Lahamadu where we changed it to where the audience can see it all the way up until we stop fishing, but we can't see it the last hour. I think that was definitely a good idea.
Yeah, a couple questions here. Roy asking, in a clean bottom situation, do you do anything different with your drop shot leader length from your hook to your weight?
No. So I always keep it at the same length, about 1.5 feet. I feel like that's just my sweet spot. I could be fishing grass where there's a lot of algae, or I could be fishing a super clean bottom. I mean, smallmouth, largemouth, everything. I keep it about 1.5 feet.
12 to 18. Yeah.
12 to 18. That's probably my sweet spot. I'd
You
say
aim for 18, but if you mess it up and it's 12, you're like, I'll just use it anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd say I shoot for 18. But if it ends up being 12, I don't cut it off and retire.
Or like it's 24 and then you try to shorten it and you shoot too far and then you end up with a 12-inch.
Exactly. Yeah, I never go super long on a drop shot. I know a lot of guys will get out to like that 24 or 26, but I never tie them that long. I actually got out with Dane Volselka a couple days ago, and he was showing me his drop shot he was throwing. It was the longest drop shot I've ever seen, but it outfished me on the lake we were on, so that was something new I learned.
Yeah. I've never really, but I know like my dad and some of his buddies have been on some bites where they were throwing like 3 and 4 foot like leaders, like trying to keep their bait completely above the grass, and I just like I'll catch them. So I'm gonna go catch different fish. I don't want to catch these fish.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's where Dane was at. Like this, it might have been a 4 foot leader. It's the biggest drop shot I've ever seen, but he caught some big ones on it, so it might be something I can play around with.
Brian, I don't know that I really have an opinion on the grass. I don't think I know enough about the lake to know whether it's zebra mussels or spring or no idea.
I think for the
on green,
milfoil, a lot of it's getting sprayed.
or did get sprayed, and now it's like, yeah, knocked so
Yeah.
far back that it.
But the coontail, I don't know about. I mean, the coontail is those coontail patches are so deep. Um, I don't know how they spray
Yeah,
that.
I would assume that back in the days when there was a bunch of milfoil and whatever 5 to 10 foot, that stuff probably got sprayed, annihilated. So
Yeah.
special night if a teal shows up.
Oh boy, what does Teal want?
He just talking about being blacked out.
Oh,
Uh, Stephen Parker, kind of if you want to get all the details, you can kind of go back to the first 5-10 minutes. But Dobbins Extreme 702, 703, depending on the thickness of the grass.
yeah, I'd say my drop shot always. I mean, if I'm smallmouth fishing, I always throw it on a 702. It's just a confidence thing. Largemouth, I always throw it on a 703 Champion Extreme. And then I just pair that up with 15-pound braid to a 10-pound fluoro leader, and I throw that pretty much everywhere. Stick to a 3/8 ounce weight, Gamakatsu 1/0 hook. Keep it pretty basic.
Right now. Brian Kastrazak, top 4 or 5 Dobbins rods.
I mean, I'd say 702, 703. What else we got?
So both Champion Extreme spinning rods. Those are your drop shot rods.
Yeah. What's that? That frogging rod.
736 XP.
736. That's one of my go-tos. And on my jig, I throw like a. God, what is it? I'm so bad with these numbers. It's like a 7.2 medium heavy ecstasy.
725.
725. Yeah,
Or
I got a lot of
724 or
those.
725, one of the two.
I keep it really basic. Like I got a lot of rods where it's like one rod and I'll throw like 5 different things on it.
Sure. Yeah, so overall, right, I think, did you end up cashing a check in every event this year in the Classic Bass?
Everyone except the Pro-Am.
Okay. Yeah, but all the regular season events.
All the regular seasons, yeah, I cashed. It was a good year. Honestly, the river really had me scared in the schedule. I have no confidence in river fishing. So I knew I wasn't going to do good getting back in that stuff like Teal or Walker did and just frog away. It's just not what I do. So I kind of just stuck to the main river smallmouth thing and just I was hoping to cash a check doing that. Or honestly, I didn't even expect to cash a check. I was just hoping to survive.
Yeah, you just didn't want to bomb.
Yeah, this year they had us real nervous with this whole cut thing.
Yeah. You weren't even close, but yeah. That's
Yeah,
the thing is like, yeah, I really was hoping to do better in the river tournament. That was not where I was expecting to lay my biggest egg. And so I was hoping to be way more comfortably in the championship slash going into the Hamadou. I was not expecting to have that much pressure on myself going into the Hamadou, but it's the way it works. It's always the ones you circle thinking like that's your tournament that you end up not catching them. So,
and the one that you think you're going to do terrible in is the one you catch them in.
yeah.
Normally how it goes.
Yeah, and Vermillion was like exciting but like terrifying at the same time.
Well, just seeing as many fish as I did, I knew everyone else was seeing just as many, if not more. So that one had me real nervous.
It's like, I know I'm going to catch them, but am I going to catch them good enough? Like, it's just like, because you're like there's so many betting fish, but you're like, can you catch them fast enough? You know what I mean? Like you're thinking like, well, betting fish, like, yeah, they're biting in practice, but like, what if they start taking like 5 casts instead of 1 cast?
Exactly.
And then like, like, or if I sting one and then I don't know. Like, but
Well,
yeah,
dude, and the crazy thing is, I think I finished 15th in that. And I want to say I had 100 pounds in the first half. Like, that's just unheard of for Champs Tour.
yeah, I had like 90 something in the first half.
Yeah. Like, it just went down there. I mean, I've never seen a whole lake spawn like that all at once.
I mean, like, if you think, I had like 161 and you had like 162 or something like that, like, or 160. You might have had like, we were within a pound,
yeah,
15th and 16th. And like you and I had top 5 all-time weights, and we barely cashed a check.
I know. I don't think that'll ever happen again, honestly. Like, we just hit it at the perfect time where everything was happening.
Yeah. Stephen Parker said he just picked up a Fury 702. Yeah, the 702s. I mean, that's what I always say. Like the 702, like any 2-power spinning rod is a great drop shot rod, depending on your in any budget. They all work pretty good. So
100%.
And
I mean, when I first started, I mean, the only rods I've ever thrown are Dobbins. And when you're in high school, the only rods I could afford were Furies. So I had a whole lineup of those. And I mean, I'd say that's the best bang for your buck rod on the market right now.
I mean, that's still all I use for wacky rigs. I'm like, I don't need anything. Like, I see my braid. Like it's not that hard to feel a whack. Like I don't need like a fancy rod to catch them on a Senko. Like
no, and they're still pretty sensitive. You
Yeah.
can still feel all you need to feel on them.
Yeah. I honestly, for a deep grass jig rod, I would actually say if you want the Champion Extreme, I'd go 745. If you want a 744, go with the XP Champion 740, which is the jig special. The 744 Champion hits about as hard as the 745 Extreme. The 744 to me is more of a Texas rig, kind of like 16 pound, 14 pound fluorocarbon, quarter ounce to like 3/8 ounce, like Texas rig rod or a football jig rod, maybe. But if you want a deeper grass, go to a 5 or go to the Champ.
What do you think about like Champion HP versus Champion Extreme spinning? Like, from my experiences, I've always felt like the HP spinnings are softer than the XPs, but I just want to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah, I don't honestly. The only XP spinning I have is not an XP; it's a pre-XP. It's probably almost as old as you are, Tommy. It's a 702, and I think I've used it so much that it's like it's fully broken in. I use it as a Ned rig round. It just loads all the way through. So
yeah, I think
I don't really have any of the newer 2 or 3 power. But I will say I had Gary on not that long ago, and the 732 and the 733 are built on old Extreme blanks, even though they're XPs. So a 733 XP is on my list for next year to try out.
Yeah, no, I think the Extremes are stiffer, in my opinion, than the Blue Champions.
Yeah. I don't have enough of the blues, any newer models to even,
That's just from what I've experienced. Like, the only ones I've really played around with are like 702s in both models. And I just feel like that 702 HP is a lot softer than the Extreme.
Sure, could be. Yeah, I have like a bunch of Caden 712s.
And I heard those are killer rods.
They're great. I got like 3 of them. And then I have the Extreme 742, which I really like.
I don't think I have any of those. So that's a 7.4 medium light power.
Yeah. So it's just the 4 inches longer than your normal Smalley rod.
Yep.
I haven't played. Then I got a 702 Old Champion and a 703 Fury and a Sobe spinning rod. But
Sobe spinning rod's a really good drop shot rod.
Yeah, a little stiffer, a little faster than the other ones, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could jack them out of the grass real quick with that thing.
Yeah.
The powerhouse.
For sure. Let's see, we're about 40 minutes in. Yeah, any other thoughts on just the Champions Tour this year? Or like what year? This is like what, year 3, 4 for you?
I think it's 5.
5?
Oh yeah, I mean, so I joined it when I was 17. That was the year I could only fish 2 because I wasn't old enough. So I got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 5 years. This is my 5th.
Okay. Well, so really, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I fished like the first couple way back when and then didn't do it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a great tournament. Well run. I thought Dane did a good job. few changes, tweaks this year. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the best ran tournament series I've fished so far, and I've fished a lot of everything. I mean, Scott Bonema obviously did a killer job with it, and Dane taking his spot. From what I saw this year, he's done a really good job. And he's got a lot of plans to really grow this tour too. So I think it could be a really big thing. It's the biggest thing we got here in the Midwest, but I think it could get a lot bigger than that in the future.
Yeah, right on. Well, Brian says, what's next for Tommy? We're going to take a quick 1-minute break, and then we're going to talk about some of the other tournaments that Tommy fished this year and what his plans are for next year. So stay tuned for 1 minute.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. We have a wide variety of home loan programs in our tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. You can ask HellaBass. He trusted us to help finance his home. Contact the Dream Team today by searching Supreme Lending Dream Team, or click the link below in the description, or scan the QR code on your screen.
All right. Shout out to the Dream Team, Aaron Dagus. When you start winning a few more tournaments next year and sell those boats and you're ready to finance a house, you can get a hold of Aaron.
They'll definitely have to hit him up, and I ain't even thinking about that yet.
Yeah.
I had to find some place to keep my boat first. Worry about
Priorities.
A house in a couple of years. Yeah.
Actually, I had a conversation with one of my neighbors. He texted me the other day, and he's like, "How deep is your third stall?" And I was like, "A little over 26." And he's like, "What the hell?" He lives in my neighborhood, and he's like, "Mine's only 21 foot." And I was like, "Oh yeah, well I built this house, and I bumped out the garage as far as I could without covering up the kitchen window." And I was like, "Well, I also made it my third stall 2 feet wider. I have a full 10-foot door, and everybody else in my neighborhood, guys that they're all angling in from the second, taking up, and I just roll in, back in, straight in, don't have to put the motor down. I'm the only garage in the neighborhood like that. So
Yeah, garage doors are key. I made sure we got a big garage door here. I think we got a 24-footer here, so it's a big ass garage door.
Yeah. Yeah, Darius up here, no. You can't do a Ned or a football jig with a drop shot. That would be, you could do it on the river technically, but not in Minnesota.
Yeah, we're only allowed to have one hook here.
But yeah, so this year you also fished Division 2 of the Opens, right?
Yeah, I fished Division 2 this year.
And you fished Division 3 the same as I did the year before, right?
That was one where I went to
St. Clair and Leech and Lacrosse.
Yep. So last year, I just hopped in Division 3, so it was easy to fish, just 3 tournaments. And that's because I was going to school. I went to Adrian in Southern Michigan, big fishing school. So I went there for a year and a half. And then this year, I just decided to go all out with the Opens and just fish everything. So I signed up for Division 2. And I had a strong start to the year. I mean, I finished, well, it's kind of the weather year, honestly. We really didn't get to fish a full tournament. I think we had 1 full tournament this year. So we started out on Sam Rayburn in Texas. I finished 8th there. Day 1 and day 3 got canceled, so that was just a 1-dayer. And then we went on to Kentucky and Norfolk, which were really tough for me. I actually blew my lower unit on Kentucky, so that kind of ended that for me. I spent about 5 hours trolling in that day, and I actually made it in with 2 or 3 fish. So shout out to Amp Lithiums for that. And then Norfolk, that was another one of the weather ones. The lake actually rose 19 feet overnight or something crazy. So they called that, and I was driving back the morning after they canceled it, And all of a sudden, my headlights hit something weird going around this bend, and the road was gone. I mean, the bridge washed out everything. So I'm like, oh boy, I'm lucky I didn't drive into that. It's pitch black. I knew all the Minnesota guys were behind me. So I went rolling down there. I tried turning around. I couldn't. I had to back all the way out, and I called all the Minnesota guys. I'm like, don't come down this road. So we all got together, called the sheriff's department or whatever, and had them barricade the road just so nobody didn't drive into it. And from there, luckily, we got to go up to one of our home lakes, Leech. And first day blew, so that got canceled. Second day we went out. I managed to crack like almost 22 pounds. I think I was close to 22 pounds. And I was tied 1 ounce behind another Minnesota guy, Kyle Minky, right? Which was pretty cool to see. Especially a tournament of that size, it's cool to see a couple Minnesota guys up top. And the second day, honestly, I think it blew harder. The second day we got to go out, but the third day of the tournament, it was Saturday, I think it actually blew harder than the day they canceled. I mean, we were fighting 3-4 footers all day, and I was just, from fishing it last year, I didn't think largemouth could win the thing. Little did I know this year.
I don't think Laker Howell thought largemouth could win it, to be honest.
No. And now Laker Howell beat us all in on largemouth. So that was pretty cool to see. I mean, they're still in there. But I battled it out all day, and somehow I came up with 16 pounds, finished 5th in that one.
Yeah. So 104 spot improvement from your Leech Lake in 2024.
Yeah, the one in 24, I mean, like, I was able to catch really big smallmouth that year, but I wasn't able to catch enough of them. So going into this year, I was getting super beat up between, do I just stick on smallmouth and find as much as I can, or do I go find a largemouth backup plan? And in practice, I already had all the stuff I knew had them. So I just went around trying to find new stuff, and I figured out there's really nothing sneaky on that lake. So then I kind of told myself I got to grind it out in the areas with every other boat and just fish better.
So basically you had 4 tournaments this year. You had 2 top 10s and 2 130-plus finishes, which did not get you into the EQs.
No.
But honestly, like, those 2 top 10s made the Opens slightly profitable. Like, or at least, like, there's guys that probably made the EQs that had 4 50 to 60th place finishes that cashed to no checks, and you cashed $22,000 in checks. So
yeah, there's guys ahead of me that didn't cash a check, but they just fished more consistently. I was either
I'm just saying, like,
top 10 or bomb, it seemed like.
Yeah. So, trending like, right, you fished St. Clair and Leech the year before. St. Clair was so decent finish, but not in the check, and then kind of a tough one at Leech. But yeah, the Opens they're no joke.
No, they're really hard. Like, I mean, that's one of the best groups of guys you can fish against. So even if you're doing bad, I think it definitely makes you a better fisherman.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, like, whatever. Like, I mean, it doesn't seem like it, but like a 70 to 90th place finish in a 220 boat tournament's really not that bad. Like, it's against that field. That's like, I mean, obviously you're not getting paid, but like, you don't just fall into a 60, 70th place finish. Like, you still got to catch them pretty good to finish in the top third of that field.
No, I'd be pretty happy to finish 60, 70th in that group. They're all good. I mean, there's nobody that signs up for those that's just mediocre. They all know how to catch a bat.
I mean, there's a couple, but yeah, for the most part, no. Like,
they're all good.
Yeah. I mean, I was frustrated. Like, I had like one really good day in St. Clair and then a terrible day. And then I had 2 like decent days at Leech and just missed a check. And honestly, if I wouldn't have kept trying to fish for smallmouth, I probably would have cashed a check. And then, yeah, the river didn't go my way again, but like it was okay. It was a good look. Honestly, after fishing Division 3 last year, like kind of like scratched the itch for me at my age, and I was like, I'd like to make a classic, but like I have no ambitions to like do the EK thing at this point.
Dude, it's grindy. Man,
Yeah.
you spend a lot of time on the road. And lately, I've just been shacking it up in the camper on the top of the truck, Jim Moyna style. So it's been a grind, but it's fun. Good thing to do when you're in your 20s.
I did miss one question on the so what Palomar knot or anything special?
Yeah. No, I tie a Palomar knot for everything.
And then just run the tag end back through the top and
Yep. I mean, not even for a drop shot. I tie it on every bait I throw. I just have confidence in
it. Yeah. So what's I mean, obviously you fished the Minnesota Team Trail this year, right? As well.
Yeah. Fish Team Trail. I just hopped in as much stuff as I could this year. I mean, that's all I do is fish for the most part. So I was just trying to keep my schedule as busy as possible. Now, luckily, I'm on about a 3-month break, so it'd be nice to relax, regroup. The boat's an absolute disaster. I'm finding things in the bottom that I didn't even know I had, so I'm trying to get all that stuff sorted out now.
You might find my Instagram reel relevant today.
Yeah, it gets bad, doesn't it? The little waypoint bags you find in the way bottom that got stuff you bought like a year ago, and you're like, I didn't even know I bought that.
So yeah, what's plans for next year? I mean, the open schedules are out now. I guess we don't have a classic bass schedule out, but like in general, what are you thinking? I mean, you're probably not locked into anything, but what's your kind of intentions at this point?
Yeah, so I mean, I've talked to Dane a bit. I'm pretty sure, almost positive, Champions Tour schedule is not going to overlap with at least Division 2, just because Division 2, there's going to be, I didn't even look at the schedule. Is there one summer tournament in it?
I think it's like 3 early and 1 summer. Does that sound right?
That's how it was this year.
Oh my
So I'm
gosh.
guessing
I don't need the
lacrosse
Bassmaster Her
summer.
podcast auto playing all the time.
But so 100% classic bass and Division 2 of the Opens, just because I don't think they're going to overlap. But I really just got to lay everything down on paper and figure it out. I thought about maybe doing the Northern Toyota Series up in New York and stuff, hopping in some of those. And then I think there's going to be some schedule changes with the team trail. I think next year they're going to go down to 3 tournaments, maybe raise the entry fees. So I'll hop in those as long as the schedule aligns. And from there, just hop in all the single ones and just try and fill it up. Might try. So next year, I think I'm going to try to fish Tonka a little more. I've kind of been putting off the past few years. So I might hop in like the Thorne Brothers Classic or maybe Minnetonka Classic, some of those.
Yeah, so next year, mid-February, Sam Rayburn, Grand Lake, end of April, mid to end of May, Pickwick, and then late June, Mississippi River. So, probably like 2 weeks earlier than we fished Champions Tour.
Yeah, it just depends on what Dane wants to do, because obviously there's an open in April, there's an open in May. Now Dane's able to have one of our Champions Tour.
Well, I heard that the DNR was not going to allow catch and release tournaments during that time. Like they weren't going to give permits. I don't know if that's true or not, but I had heard that through somebody.
From what I heard, Champions Tour has permission to do it. So
yeah, that'd be awesome if we could do like I don't think I want like a April. I think can be, but like I think like a early to mid May could be pretty exciting.
That'd be really
to be
fun.
honest.
I think Dane's worry about an April tournament is obviously ice here in the Midwest. Like we could have. I mean, didn't we have a year like last year? Didn't the ice go out in like March?
Yeah, no, it definitely.
It goes out in May. Like.
Yeah, I mean, like in the metro area, usually by April, like tax day is like it's pretty late if the ice isn't out like by mid-April in this, from like the Minneapolis area. But yeah, I mean, you start going north, like you go up to like Leech or Vermillion or places like that. Yeah, it could be early May.
Well, yeah, I mean, for championship format, I mean, 50 boats, split lake.
There's a lot of places.
We're really limited down here in the metro. Like, we got Tonka.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
For,
And if we're all going to fish on the same side of the lake, which is what Dane has kind of set his mandate and the way he wants to do it, it does kind of limit what we could do. Obviously, for the TOC, I assume the championship's going to probably drop to 25 in the future.
Yeah, that's going to be the same.
So that really starts to open things up when you start talking about 25. You
go anywhere.
Yeah. But obviously, you go to the river super early, but then you got flooding, rescheduling, trying to reschedule 50 marshals. Like, that's probably not something he wants to deal with.
No, and I don't think we're gonna go to the river. I mean, we'll go there again, but I don't think next year, just being we were just there.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, right. So like this year, La Crosse, the year before, St. Croix, the year before, Wabasha, right? So like probably safe assumption we're not going to the river, but who knows? But there's, I mean, like you could go to Winona. There's a lot of options.
Yeah,
we could go to some catch and release pools. I mean, right? We could be downtown Minneapolis in the Camden pool. I mean, who knows?
Right. I'm thinking the next couple of years. I mean, we're gonna start going to Wisconsin more. I think we're gonna have a tournament like in Wisconsin. I mean, we had the
like
St.
tip
Croix
off flowage or something like
We had the St. Croix, but that's kind of Minnesota. I think we're actually going to have one in Wisconsin, and then honestly,
Boji will probably be back in the rotation. Yeah, probably.
I think Okoboji will be back in it, and I think South Dakota, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not really. I mean, obviously, I know like Big Stone, and then I've been to like Oahe, but I've never really like understand what like the lakes are, like Webster, like how big they are, and like just across the border. I don't. So.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I've never been to them, so I can't really judge the size. But I mean, you don't need that big of a lake to hold a 50-boat tournament.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on the? I guess for the opens, the 50% front facing versus not.
I think they set it up really good. What lakes you're gonna have it and what lakes you're not. I think the only oddball is gonna be Grand. Like that tournament could set up on a spawn deal, or it could be really weird. It could. I mean, it's probably just gonna be you have to hit the bank and find stuff shallow. Spawn or not, I think without live scope, that's going to be what you're going to have to do out there. But having scope on Rayburn and Pickwick is going to be big. And then obviously we got La Crosse, which is a body of water you're not going to need any live scope on. So I think you're going to see all different types of ways to catch bass. Guys are going to be doing everything. So it'll be really cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like balancing the scope is no big deal for you, better for you, worse for you? Like, how do you think, like...
I mean, so I grew up without live scope. I actually didn't put scope on my boat until probably maybe 4 years ago, or probably realistically like 3 years ago. So I haven't had scope that long. So I grew up learning how to just fish without it, feel for structure on bottom, dragging rock, flipping weeds. So I feel like I'll be fine without it, but I just don't like seeing us take a back step in technology in our industry. I'd like to see it just keep moving forward. I don't want to take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back.
But as far as like your comfort level, you're fine with or without it, or half on, half off, like...
Yeah, no, I'm completely comfortable fishing without it, or fishing half with it, half without it. I don't like us backstepping in the fishing industry.
Yeah, and also, I mean, part of it is like, I mean, I'll be honest, like for me, it'd be better if we didn't have it. Like, do I have it on my boat? Do I try to get better at all the time? But like for me, honestly, it'd be better if we didn't have it. Like I would probably. No, I'm not saying guys like you. I'm not saying you wouldn't catch them and other guys wouldn't catch them, and but
Mhm.
like it would be easier for me to hang with like how much time I get on the water and the most time I've spent with it. But I'm also not like against it. Like I like when we see like this 50-50, then it's like, well, we're like a half a step from getting rid of it, right? And I don't think that's what we should do. I'm in the camp that they should just use the schedule, right? Which, like, to me, next year's elite and this year's elite schedules were pretty much set up to balance it out on its own, right? So
I don't think they need to do the coin flip or anything. I
yeah,
think the schedule sort of
yeah.
balance it out itself.
But then again, I also, it kind of sounds like it was more driven by the anglers than the fans. So I guess we'll see. But I don't know.
But I'll also be curious. So you see these, so 9-10 guys making it into the elites every year. The past couple of years, it's been primarily guys under 30 years old. So is that gonna, let's say it was 60% for the split, 40% keep scope full time. As more young guys get in this that are scope driven, is that gonna balance that out so it weighs more on the keep the scope around side?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I personally don't think the AOI standings are going to change that much.
No, I don't think it's gonna make a difference. But I'm saying, let's say 2 years down the road, if they do another one of these votes, keep scope or have it 50-50 coin flip. But let's say there's 20 more guys in it. What's going to happen? 20 new guys.
I mean, the new guys, right, in theory now, right, next year, you and the guys that are fishing the EQs are going to come in under a 50-50 schedule. So they probably should be comfortable with it. But to your point, it's probably not going to get any more anti-scope going down the road.
No.
It may stay same or creep the other way. And I think at the end, right, I think as anglers, we have to somewhat balance our personal feelings with what is actually good for the sport. And if the numbers suggest from a fan and from company participation and that kind of stuff that this 50-50 is good for the sport, then that's what the anglers should get behind. But we won't know that for another year or two.
It's just hard to tell. I mean, can't remember what year it was, but during COVID, they were saying they had the most views ever. So that was like prime scope.
Yeah.
So, hard to tell.
And then they put out their announcement this year, like the 2 days before they announced the 50-50, they talked about a 20% increase, right, in viewership, right? But actually, Chase Anderson was on BTL on Monday, which is kind of a good. I mean, if you're going to keep fishing Bassmaster, it's probably worth listening to that if you haven't, just so you understand what's coming from the top. But basically, he said, well, we expanded our days on Fox and FS1, so obviously our viewership would go up. But on a granular level, there were some tournaments where viewership was not up, so he kind of didn't come out and say it, but did kind of allude that maybe some of those like St. Clair tournaments and like that, the viewership was not well accepted.
Yeah, I mean, a lake like St. Clair, that's really scope driven now.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's scoping out there. You have a lot of these lakes, like look at a Leech, for example. You have your guys out there scoping smallmouth on boulders, and you have guys like Lake or Howell that go win the thing they don't even need scope near their boat. They're just frogging.
It just collects more rice.
Yeah. So I mean, I think you can still do whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. I don't think you have to be scoping.
But if you have a open schedule like they had in 2023 or a Bassmaster schedule like they had in 2024, then it is going to dominate if you don't do something. So,
well, yeah, there was 1 year where they had obviously a really scope-driven schedule where scope.
Which I don't think. Everywhere. The thing is, I don't think they saw it coming because like it was like this. Like they plan their schedules like that's like a 2-3 year process, right? So like technology was ramping up, and then they basically like collided with this pre-spawn schedule that just like was out of control. But
now they're preparing for it. So I think last year was really balanced, and I think this year's gonna be really good too. I think the only oddball is what's that smallmouth fishery they're going to without scope? Champlain. Which
Champlain does have I mean, it's not quite like Leech, but it has. You got options. I think that's honestly, that is the one that I'm most excited to watch this year now under the new like non-scope, because like Champlain, let's call it 3+ years ago, was always a must tune in event, right? Like you guys got guys throwing spooks, you got guys fishing buoy cables, you got guys flipping docks, you got guys flipping grass, right? People running to tie, right? You got all kinds of things going on. But then like when they started going there late summer, and then people realized that the inland sea was just full of like 4-pound smallmouth, like it just became one dimensional, right?
But it's gonna be really
now,
diverse now.
this isn't going to be back to what we remember, right? There's still going to be guys catching smallmouth and fishing offshore, but they're going to be fishing them in different ways.
Which I think is going to be really cool to see. And for the industry itself, I think that's going to benefit, because you're going to be able to promote, like as a company, you're going to be able to promote different things, different techniques, different ways to catch them. So,
yeah. So that's what we're saying. Like maybe this 50-50 thing is what we need. My gut reaction is I wasn't really a fan, but I'm kind of shifting to more like I'm going to take a wait and see approach on how it really unfolds.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I think the better way to do it would be to just schedule it to where you have half that are really scope driven lakes.
Yeah.
And you have half that like you could go get up dirty and go flip it.
But I think that, like Champlain is a good case example where it's like it could be a really good lake, but if you allow scope, it becomes one dimensional.
Exactly.
So
like let's say they send us to like a St. Clair and they say we can't have scope. Okay, that'd be a really weird one.
Right. It would be that you're still going to be smallmouth. It's just the catch rates are going to go down.
Exactly.
I mean, there'd be a few guys that dabble and make a top 20 on largemouth or something, but they're not going to be the guys that are being your top 10 at the end of the day. Like they're not. You can't, especially in a multi-day tournament. I mean, Ish proved in a one-day tournament you can make some magic, but like he caught 14 pounds the second day.
No, the only time I could see largemouth playing with that would be like someone runs all the way down into the west side of Erie, way down there.
Yeah, I think you just run out of time though at that point. Like,
me too.
But yeah, so here's back to so somehow you forget your RoboWorm bag in the truck. What's your next choice?
Yamamoto Sensei worm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my next go-to.
I haven't tried that one, but I will say I was actually getting bid on a Neko rig at Green in practice pretty decent. Clearly didn't stick with it, didn't manifest a tournament day, but I've been fooling around with the Nikorama from Big Bite.
The Nikorama is really good.
Yeah, that's it's good, and it holds up. Like it's got great action, and it actually like you can Nico rig it whether you like an Arsenal band, and you can catch like 10 fish on that worm, legit.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, the Sensei worm, that's a killer Nico rig bait too.
Sure. Brian says favorite bait fun fishing that's not a drop shot.
Flipping a jig.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
like grass jig, 3/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, shallow, deep. What kind of?
Normally I'll just flip a 3/4 ounce.
So grass edges, milfoil, coontail.
Keep it super basic. Fish it out deep.
Oh, so what? If people want to? How many boats you got in your dealership that you got this fall, and how do people? What do you got, and how do people get a hold of you if they're looking to get a boat?
Yeah, so I got a 2023 Ranger. It's my tournament boat from this year, fully loaded. It's got 312s on it, and then I got a 18 MBT. Everything's rigged how you want it, lithiums. That one's gonna be going for sale. And then I got that new Skeeter I won. I'll be getting that in a few weeks now. That's a ZX 200 Skeeter. It's got a 200 Yamaha. I put an Ultrex on it. Comes with a cover. It's going to be brand new, 0 hours. That one will be coming up for sale. And if anyone's interested in it, just hit me up. My social media is Tommy Parker Fishing all the way. So
just slide into those IG DMs if you're looking.
Yeah, DM's probably the best, or else Facebook. I'm pretty sure that's Tommy Parker Fishing too. So
right on. Yeah, so let's. I don't know if there's other people got questions. We covered kind of that kind of stuff. I will say if there any of the rods that Tommy mentioned, you can use my discount code to save 15% at Omni Efficient on any of those drop shot setups. That code's active. But yeah, like kind of like if there are any other questions, let them fly in the chat. We'll probably wrap things up here in the next 15 minutes or so. So what are you doing? Staying busy the last 2 months of open water here in Minnesota?
Been trying to knock out as many guide trips as I can, trying to save up to make it through the winter, and then just working on this new shop, trying to get everything ready, get the boat stripped, get organized, and honestly, that's about it. I've had a couple trips. Got up to Mille Lacs a couple times in the past few weeks. Places fish and fire. That's about it.
So guiding, what kind of guide is it? All corporate, or do you do private trips, or what kind of guiding do you do?
So through myself, I only do private guides. I have a couple clients I work with that set up corporate stuff. But I mean, through me, it's all private. I guide metro area.
I mean, like if people want to get out and get drop shot lessons, or is that they get a hold of you, or do you only do it through?
Yeah,
no.
no.
If somebody wants.
Anyone can get a hold of me for a trip. I mean, I'll do just about anything. If anyone wants to go on a metro lake, I live on the west side of Twin Cities, so I know all these lakes very well. And then I also take a lot of trips up north to take clients out.
Somebody messaged me about a tournament on October 11th or October 12th on Pryor. If you want me to send that to you.
I do not know Pryor. You got me on one metro lake I don't
know. Have you fished the grass piece at all?
I've thrown it a bit. That's that bait that looks like it's like a chatterbait spinnerbait, right?
Yeah.
I got more confidence in just like a traditional jackhammer. But I mean, at Waypoint, we sell the absolute piss load of those grass pieces. So people throw them. I mean, I've heard from guys like Teal and a lot of other guys that just absolutely love them. I mean, Ross, the owner of Waypoint, he swears by them. So they obviously work, but I just haven't had a lot of time with it. But that's also mainly because I haven't been able to get enough of them. I got 2 of them, and I got piked right away, so I haven't really thrown them much.
Yeah, I've dabbled. I've caught a few fish on it. I did a pot. I mean, it was a decent producer for me on Grand last year in November. Obviously not good enough, but yeah, it's interesting. But same thing is like you try it a little bit and like you lose one or you don't get bit, and then you pick up a jackhammer, which you have confidence in. You start and you get bit, and then you kind of forget about it. Like it's.
Yeah, I have noticed the wobble on them is a lot more subtle than like a jackhammer.
It's tighter. It's more like it feels like a lipless more than a.
Yeah, exactly. They don't vibrate nearly as hard.
And they don't hunt. They're very true running, actually.
Yeah, I think maybe be a better cold water bait. What do you think? Like really cold.
I mean, I think there's a window for it. I just haven't figured out what it is yet.
Yeah,
and I feel like the great hook on it. Thing's a freaking gaff and it's super sharp.
Yeah, I feel like the window would be like before they start using a jackhammer, maybe. Like right when the ice comes off. But in Minnesota, obviously, we haven't been able to play with that. So
not till next year.
I'll be curious to play with that. Like,
well, Tommy's down at Grand Lake, hoping it's not that week that they stop biting. He has no forward, and I'm gonna just be smashing on him around here, just ripping on him.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire back home when I'm at Grand. Grand's probably gonna be tough.
Yeah. Jig skipping. Do you fish much docks?
Yeah, I do. Hang on. I gotta get the numbers. And I don't know what my jig rod is.
Look how short he is. Like a tiny little. He's like a little Brandon Palnick, little pint-sized angler.
It's DX 703 Champ Extreme.
Really? That's braid or fluoro?
braid to fluoro.
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Like I like a 705, which they don't make anymore, but he's asking for XP and under. So if I was going to say XP and under, I would say my top 3 choices for a jig rod would be XP 705 or the XP 610-4 or the Cadence 715.
Glad Rich knows his numbers better than me.
It's pretty easy. It's feet, inches, power.
Yeah,
And I don't think of rods in like medium heavy. I think of them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just don't order enough of like a variety to really understand, like, because every model has a different action, like Champ Extreme versus HP versus Caden versus Sierra. You could have the same action number in all 4 of those series.
They're pretty similar outside of a few oddballs, to be honest. Like to me, I mean, there's some nuances to but like to me, a 3-power spinning rod is a 3-power spinning rod for the most part.
So I must be really picky about it, or I'm just weird about it. I don't know.
So, yeah. So they did come out with the nation qualifier schedule today.
And what does that look like?
4 regional qualifiers. I feel like I need to make this a little bigger here.
I feel like Mississippi might have to hop
April
in that
10th, Cherokee Lake. So back-to-backers in April almost, and then Toledo Bend. That's like the same week that overlaps Grand, I think, almost right on.
Yeah.
That's the same time as the Open and Grand. And then this is pretty much the same. They had this not this year, but the year before. So 2024, they basically had this tournament at the same time in May. It was a whack fest. It was good. And then this is really simple. So like these 2 tournaments are almost the same as their 2024 qualifiers. These 2 are different. That year they did Eufaula, Alabama, and Arkansas River in Arkansas. But these 2 are pretty much the same as 2024. And then they haven't announced the championship. So
I think that's a pretty solid schedule, though.
Yeah. So I mean, these are actually like if somebody's like kind of want to itching to do the opens, but doesn't have like open money, open experience. I want to say these tournaments are $400 a piece, and I want to say they pay 15, 20 grand to win, and I want to say they pay like 800 to $1,000 down to like 30th place. Like, so it's a really good like open light type schedule with basically the winner of the championship makes the elites and the top 3 get into the classic and the EQs. So,
I mean, that Mississippi River one's gonna be real good for any Minnesota guy that's trying to get into it.
Yeah. So I'll be definitely fishing that one. And depending on what else I do this year, this seems like a really fun one to just like I've always wanted to go to Champlain. Might be a good time to go out there and do that.
I've just always wanted to go to New York to go bassing. That's kind of why I've been thinking about
smallmouth sponder. Absolutely, that's what it was last time, and it will be again.
100%.
Unless they, I don't know if they said anything about technology for Bass Nation. But if you can use perspective mode, it will absolutely dominate that May tournament in lacrosse.
I believe they haven't came out with any rules for Bass Nation, and I don't think they will.
So, looks like you will be able to start registering for those tournaments in January. So there you go. Did you just like turn on a really loud fan in your garage by any chance or something?
No, they get loud.
Yeah, it was weird. It comes in and out for some reason. Maybe is your computer getting hot or the fan's blowing?
It might be.
Okay.
I mean, I got a fan going in my garage, but it's been going the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just been I've heard it a couple times, but now it's just been getting a little weird. When you talk, it seems to go down, but then that's weird. But
Oh,
I think we were getting close to landing this ship, anyways. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Well, appreciate you making time, Tommy, giving us
Yeah,
the
no problem.
lowdown, the
Fun
drop
talking.
shot juice. In the end, it's I think the secret to your drop shot is confidence, is what I took from it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a confidence bait. I think the worm too. I mean, a rubber worm's hard to beat. Aaron Martin's put a beat down on that worm for a long time, so proven fish catcher, and I've definitely put it into my arsenal and stays in my front deck all the time.
Well, appreciate it. I'm gonna wrap this up. Get some jigs packed tonight. Appreciate you coming on, Tommy. As always, here to help you guys catch more big bass and suck less.
Sounds good. I'm gonna get some poles rigged for tomorrow. Appreciate it.